Mario, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Great.
All right. All right, so we'll get started. Forgive us for the technical difficulties. It always happens after 5:30. All right. Let me get rid of some of these screens. Okay. So again, like I mentioned earlier, my name is Mario Cheney, and I am the Associate Director of Marketing here at the University in Student Auxiliary Services. With us today, we have the Director of Housing and Dining Services, Kelly Thacker, and she will be talking about the move-in process and just giving us a little bit of her history as what has happened in the past, just to help you move in and have a smooth transition from check-in through the move-in process, as well as unloading your car and moving into the building. So without further ado, Kelly, take it away.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Move-in is just a few days away. We're really excited and busy preparing for all of your arrival. So we, as Mario said, we'll kind of share some information with you about move-in and what to expect, and we'll take some time at the end for some questions. So we always like to start every presentation that we do with our mission in housing and residential life, because we think it's really important that you understand how we frame everything that we do, even including move-in. So our goal is really to make sure that the students that choose to live with us are being successful, they're learning, they're engaging with ourselves as staff, as well as our students and some of our student staff in a really intentional way. We work to support you by having safe, comfortable, and convenient buildings and housing facilities, as well as our dining locations. And our goal is for all of our residents that live with us to grow in their self-awareness, as well as their cross-cultural understanding, and really understanding how they fit into our global world, as well as how they fit into our world as a Wayne State student and as a part of the Wayne State campus. And so there's things that as you come to move in, you might meet people who are different than you. You might meet people who are from different parts of the world than you are. And we really want you to be, open and, really engage with those individuals, and you'll learn a lot about yourself as well as learning about them. And that will continue throughout your experience living on campus with us. So a few things about move-in dates and times. So for our first year students, so that is incoming freshman students, transfer students, and any student who's in a living learning community, your move-in will begin on Thursday at 9 a.m. You were to have signed up for a move-in time that's actually closed at this point. So students were sent an email, and if you applied after the beginning of August in your assignment email, it did have information about how to sign up for a move-in time. We have a certain set amount of slots for students during each hour, and that really is when you are going to start your move-in process at the Welcome Center. So we're going to ask, you review that, you can take a look and see what that time was by going to your self-service portal. And then for those who arrive after to campus after 5 o'clock, you're going to go directly to your assigned building. So on Thursday, we're going to have the Welcome Center open from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. for students to complete the move-in process. And then you'll be directed to your assigned building. But if you arrive after 5 o'clock, don't stop at the Welcome Center. You'll just go directly to your assigned building, and the staff there will have all of the documents and paperwork and keys for you to complete your move-in process. Please know that between the hours of 5 and 6 o'clock, we are transitioning. So if you arrive during that time, you're going to want to go directly to the building, but expect for a slight wait because our staff are going to be working to get all of the information back from the Welcome Center. So it's going to take them a little bit of time to set up, and then we'll work to get you moved in as quickly after that as possible. If you are an upper class student and you do not fall into one of those 3 other groups, your move-in dates are Saturday, August 27th and Sunday, August 28th. We have this information both for our first year students as well as for our upper class students on our website. But for upper class students, you will also start at the Welcome Center, and we ask you to arrive based upon the first letter of your last name. So if your last name starts with an A through H, we'd ask that you arrive between 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And again, that's just to get started with your move-in process. You don't have to complete your move-in. You don't have to get everything unloaded in that window of time. That's really when we ask you to arrive at the Welcome Center to do your paperwork, and then we'll direct you to your assigned building to unload. Similarly to our first year students, the hours of 6 through 9 is an open move-in, and that's when you're going to go to your assigned building to complete the move-in process. Again, between 5 and 6 o'clock, we're going to be transitioning all of the information, documents, and keys back to the buildings. So just give us a little bit of time to do that, and then we'll get you checked in as quickly as we can after that. The other thing I do want to note is that if you are assigned in the Thompson or University Towers unfurnished apartments, you are not going to go to the Welcome Center on any of these days. You are going to go directly to those buildings to complete your move-in process. So you'll go right to the front desks of those 2 buildings, and you'll work to complete the paperwork with the staff there at the building. So the first part of the move-in process is to go to the Welcome Center, 42 West Warren. We will have complimentary parking in Structure 6, which is near the Welcome Center. There'll be lots of signage that will help you kind of navigate that. And we would ask, you can feel free to drop the student off, and then they can go into the Welcome Center while other family members are parking. We will have a really great family and friends corner outside of the Welcome Center. So anybody that the students bring with them can hang out, get some great information, send some notes of encouragement that will go out throughout the semester, meet with some of our other campus partners, get some questions answered, all those things. That will be outside of the Welcome Center while the students are inside going through the check-in lines. As I mentioned, students living at University Towers and the Thompson will go directly to their buildings to complete the check-in process. So then after you get all of your information and documents at the Welcome Center, and I will mention one other thing about the Welcome Center. When you come to that building to check in, please make sure that you have left your one card out. You will need that. So please don't pack up your one card as you're packing up everything else to come to campus, as well as your campus daily screener. You'll need to show that as well. And please make sure that you have uploaded and completed all of your vaccine requirements. So whether that's submitting the vaccine documentation or a declination, please make sure that all of that is done, because those will be the first things that we check when you arrive at the Welcome Center. As well as your check-in pass. Don't forget about doing that check-in pass. That link is online, and you'll have a 22-23 housing move-in badge that will be issued once you complete that. So that's at the Welcome Center. Then you have your documentation, and you have your hang tags for your car that will have the directions to get to your assigned building. And then we will have certain unloading areas for each building. We ask that you spend only about 15 minutes to unload your car. We will have some student and staff volunteers that we call our Warrior Welcome Crew that will be on hand to help you unload at the curb. They'll have big bins. We do encourage you to bring your own trolleys or dollies, because we only have a limited amount of those available, but our Warrior Welcome Crew will be there to help. A driver must stay with the car until it's completely unloaded, and then you will head to step 3, which is to park your car. So we would ask that you move your vehicle to parking structure 2 if you have a parking pass, or into parking structure 5, which is for guests and short-term parking. So you won't need to worry about the short-term parking. We will have those that structure 5 open for you during this move-in period. I did see a question in the chat. So I'll touch on that when we talk about these other steps to complete. And we will not be giving out parking pass for structure 2. You will have to have one in order to park in structure 2. Structure 5 is where the guests and people without permits will be able to park. So a few things for you to do before you arrive at the Welcome Center to check in. One of those being the campus daily screener. So you need to make sure that you submit your vaccine documentation. And then you also need to complete the screener every single day that you are going to be on campus. That's something that all faculty, staff, and students need to complete daily. So we would encourage you to kind of keep a bookmark on your phone or on your computer. Maybe, put a little reminder in your calendar or in your room after you check in, but you do need to complete that every single day. You will need to get a green screener. That means that you are authorized and approved to be on campus. That daily screener is actually connected to your vaccination documentation. So if we've been working to call students who haven't submitted any vaccine documentation or who have not been approved with their submitted documentation, because that's linked. So if you get a red screener, we're going to have you work with a campus health center. So that campus daily screener is really, really important. Guests also need to complete a daily screener. That's been included in the email information that's been sent to both parents and students. It's called the guest screener. So anyone who's a Wayne State student needs to do the campus daily screener, and then guests the guest screener. That includes parents, siblings, anyone who's coming with you to help you check in and move in will need to complete that guest screener. We will be giving out wristbands to everyone once they show us their completed screener. Also, the check-in pass, I mentioned that earlier. You'll need a printed or digital copy of the check-in badge, which is available through the Canvas course. You do need to sign up and then complete that course. Once you complete that course, you will automatically be sent that check-in badge. There might be a slight delay depending upon how many other students are doing it. So please do not wait until tomorrow night if you're moving in on Thursday to complete that check-in pass. Then, as I mentioned, please do not pack your one card. Make sure you bring your one card, but do not pack it in all of your other things you are bringing. We will need to make sure that you've received your one card. If you've not done so, please make sure you upload your picture. And then we will have one card staff available at the Welcome Center, because if you don't have that one card, we're going to send you right to the one card office to get that. Another question in here in the chat about guests logging into the daily screener. You just need to put in your information. There's actually no login. It'll just ask for your first and last name, a cell phone number, and then ask you a few questions about your current health that day. So how do you sign up for the check-in pass? You need to go into the Canvas course, and once you're in that Canvas course, you need to enroll. So if you use the links that are on the housing website, under the move-in section, there's a section that talks about the check-in pass. Once you click that link, it will take you right to the course, and then it will ask you if you want to enroll. So you need to enroll in the course first and then complete it. The parking, the one card and parking office is in the Welcome Center. So if you have not yet picked up your parking pass, you can go up there to see if they have it available when you arrive for check-in. All right. Then one note about renter's insurance. Although we do not require renter's insurance if you live on campus, we do strongly recommend it. And we would encourage students and their families to take a look at their own homeowner's policy or purchasing a renter's policy yourself. Many insurance companies do sell renter's insurance for campus residents, specific for students who are living on campus. We don't endorse any one particular company, but we would strongly encourage you to consider getting this insurance to protect you from any unexpected costs of damages that you may incur. So please chat about that. Think about what your options are. We do highly recommend it. So a few things related to what to pack. Many students bring things that they're going to use with them right away, and then plan to either go home over a long weekend or during one of the holiday periods in the fall semester to swap out some of those items. So it's warm in Detroit right now. You don't need those winter sweaters or winter jackets or hats or mittens. Leave those for later in the fall semester, and then you can swap out, some of your shorts and tank tops with some of that warmer weather clothing. Throughout the year, you also might choose to bring different items to campus or back home if you're not using things to lighten the load when you move out at the end of the winter semester in May. So with that, we will open it up for questions. I do see that there are some questions here in the chat related to University Towers. If you don't have your one card, you will need to go to the Welcome Center to get that first, because you will not be able to get in and out of the building if you don't have your one card. So make sure that you do that first. You'll just head up the steps, let the staff know at the doors that you're there to visit the one card office. And then immediately after that, you will go to University Towers to complete your check-in. If you don't have a move-in time slot and you are a first-year student, we would ask that you come later in the day. All of the morning time slots were completely full. We did have some time slots later in the afternoon. If you're not a first-year student and you're moving in on the 27th or 28th, we'd ask that you follow the times listed online based on your last name. And then if you were a graduate student and you could have moved in earlier, you will be able to move in. We would ask that you try to come either on Thursday, Saturday, or Sunday, because we will be at the Welcome Center. Friday is going to be busy with first-year student programs. Jessica, we can stay on the line and we can talk a little bit more about Friday. August 26th is not a day that we have scheduled for move-in. So the 26th, as I was just mentioning, is the day that we are doing all of our first-year student programs. So related to finishing the guest screener, the parents who were listed as their students' emergency contact did receive an email from our associate vice president, and that went out yesterday. So if you were listed, you should have received that. You can also, and it had information about completing the guest screener in there. You can also go to the Wayne State website and type in guest screener into the search box, and then you will be able to complete that. So I'm going to need Mario's help in trying to see if we've got some similar questions here, because I see a lot of different messages coming in.
Yes, I'm tackling them in the comments as well. What I'll do is I'll sift through and I'll state the question, then you can answer that. How about that, Kelly?
Sure.
Okay. So as a parent, you should have received the email. If you have not received it, like Kelly said, the guest screener is online at wayne.edu. The check-in module, if they have not received their badge, what should they do, Kelly?
So they need to go back and make sure that they're enrolled in the correct course. That badge will be issued automatically after you complete all of the steps. So I would encourage you to go back, make sure that you have completed each and every step, because if you skipped over something, it's not going to issue you that badge. And if you have any questions, you can email us at housing@wayne.edu, but that's really, it's really the Canvas course, once you complete it, that will issue your badge. I do see a question in here about someone not receiving a green screener. If you don't have a green screener, you are not able to come to campus. So you do need to wait until you get that green screener. And then our staff, we have other first-year students that are not able to come and move in on the 25th. So our staff will be following up with anybody who missed some of those events.
Okay, we have an international student asking, can they check in early?
So international students have already received information about checking in early. So you would have to follow that information. So Venkat, you should have already received an email if you were eligible to move in early. So if you received an email that said moving in on the 27th or the 28th, then those are the dates that you need to follow. We've been working with OISS to coordinate, and so students prior to now were receiving information about requesting an early move-in.
We have a student.
It also, oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to add one other thing. It also depends upon where you're living, because international students assigned in University Towers had different early move-in options than students in our residence hall buildings.
Okay. We have a student, Louis, asking about will there be long lines at the Welcome Center based on a disability?
So the lines at the Welcome Center will really be dependent upon when students arrive. So for the first year student move-in, there was a set amount of slots every single hour. So we know that there is a limited number of students that can check in each hour. So our goal is really to not have a long line, but it may be about a 5 to 7 minute wait. We really always work to try to make sure we're kind of within that wait time at the very beginning of the line. In total, the check-in process could take you about 15 to 20 minutes. Again, depending upon all those things that Mario and I were mentioning. If you have everything prepped and ready to go, you've got your check-in badge on your phone, you have your daily screener all set and ready to go, you have your one card, that's going to make that move-in process much smoother.
Okay, we have student Anne. She says, I'll be flying in from LA and I can't really follow the designated time slot for the graduate students. Can she just walk in and complete the check-in at a different time?
So Anne, if you're arriving between 9 and 5 o'clock on the 25th, 27th, or 28th, you need to go directly to the Welcome Center. If you're coming to anywhere after 6 o'clock, you need to go directly to your assigned building to complete the check-in process. As Mario and I've been mentioning throughout, that regardless of when those students arrive, they go directly to their assigned building.
Okay. This is Jing. It says, will this presentation be available? And the answer to that question is yes. Once we complete the presentation, we will upload it to our YouTube channel, which is Wayne State Housing. Okay. Asia says, hello, I'm a first year student living in Ghaffari Hall. My move-in date says August 27th, but my check-in process says August 25th at 1 p.m. Which date should I?
Yeah, so I can explain that. So for every student in their housing self-service portal, it says that your move-in date is August 27th because that is the start of our housing license agreement term. So you need to follow, Asia, the date that you signed up for in your check-in process, which is August 25th. Every student, we're allowing students to move in a few days early so that they can participate in those events on Friday and Saturday. So that's why there's a slight difference between the start of the contract date and the date that we're allowing our first year students to move in.
Okay. Sarah asks, I received a link to the screener for orientation, but not for move-in. You received an email, especially in the, I believe the logistics email with your screener information. You can click on it within that email. You can also go to wayne.edu and at the top it says COVID. Top right of the screen says COVID above the search bar, and that was where you can find the daily screener to complete for your move-in and check-in date.
All students do need to complete the Warrior Safe training before move-in. That is a part of the housing check-in pass process. McKenna, we can certainly stick around. I see that you've sent us the message, so we will stick around and chat with you. Jordan, related to the flu shot. So yes, the flu shot will be required, but we do not yet know the date by which all students will need to have that submitted. So that is still yet to be determined. From our conversations with our campus health center, they're waiting to find out more about the additional booster for COVID before they release the date for the flu shot requirement.
Ms. Thacker, I wanted to touch on what you just said about the Warrior Safe training. If we have already printed our check-in pass, we're all good, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and then I also wanted to ask one last question about parking structure 2. I know it says parking structure 2, but suppose if we're like moving in, we're carrying all of our stuff. Like, can we park kind of somewhere like closer to our residence?
Like a refrigerator.
So So part of the move-in process is for you to go in front of the building to that designated unloading zone. And that's where we want you to unload those larger items, because we'll have our Warrior Welcome crew who will be there to assist you. So after that, after you park your car, you could certainly come back if there's not a lot of traffic loading zone and unload again larger items. We see students do that all the time. They may run out and grab some additional things at the store or groceries, but if you park in the structure, you would need to carry the items from the structure in.
But the larger item, we can park close to a zone area, and then we can move the larger item like a refrigerator or microwave or those stuff, right?
Yes, we would encourage you to unload that in the unloading zone after you leave the Welcome Center. And then at University Towers and the Thompson, there will also be unloading zones.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So Jing, you asked a question about first-year students moving in. Once you move in, you are allowed to live there. So what I was referring to is the start of the contract date. That's August 27th. But if you're moving in on the 25th, you are allowed to continue to live with us.
Okay.
Oh,
go ahead.
Yep, go ahead, Mario.
Allison asks, if my time slot is 10 to 11, do I need to check in at the Welcome Center at 10 a.m. or before?
You'll want to show up at 10 a.m.
Okay.
A green screener means that you are approved to be on campus. So that is connected to your vaccine information. So if you submitted your vaccine information and were approved, then that's connected to your Wayne State Campus Daily Screener. And what happens is every single day, students will go on and they will kind of report their symptoms. Have they, had a temperature over a certain degree? Have they had contact with anyone who's had COVID? So there's some questions that you'll need to answer. And then if you are approved to be on campus, then you'll receive a green screener. It's actually a QR code that will be green around it that will say approved to be on campus.
Jennifer asks, I'm receiving the parent newsletter, but not the emails other than the one. Is there a step the student needs to complete? Like he needs to do the move-in process, etc., before the email would be delivered?
No, if you are not receiving the parent emails, that's because your student didn't list you as, or your email address as their emergency contact in the housing process. So I don't know, Mario, if you can post a version of that parent email on our housing website, I think that would be really helpful. The email that just went out yesterday, and we can try and get a copy. So we'll post that online.
I think that she was asking for her student that he or she may have not received the student emails. So I would assume they're not checking their Wayne account.
Yes, I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. So yes, all Wayne State housing, admissions, orientation, all of that communication goes to the student's Wayne State email account. There's a question about dining, so I want to make sure we address this. If you are moving in on August 25th, we have meals planned for you that evening as well as throughout the day on Friday. Dining meal plans will begin on Saturday morning. So if you're on campus for our first year programs, Living Learning Community, or as a transfer student, we will be providing meals.
Okay.
So I would highly recommend, if a student does not have their one card, I see some messages about international students arriving in the middle of the morning or early evening. I would encourage you to find another place to stay that evening, because you're not going to be able to get moved in and move throughout the building without your one card. So we've been sending communication, and the one card office has been working to reach out to students to make sure that those one cards were able to be sent or picked up. So you'd want to contact the one card office to get that figured out.
Okay, I know we mentioned this, but I just want to reiterate it. So it says, if a student have not a time slot for check-in, what time should they come if you're a transfer student?
So you need to come in the afternoon. All of the morning slots are already filled. So I would encourage you to come between 3 and 5 o'clock.
Is it okay to bring 2 cars for unloading? One car is mine and it's staying. The other is my parents, which is taking them home after.
Yes, we will issue you as many hang tags as you need. but once the lot is filled, then we're going to have to kind of redirect people to other parking garages. So I would encourage you to just bring what you need as far as family member and friends' cars. See if you can carpool. It is possible that those garages may fill up.
Noah asks, does first year students include transfer students?
It does if you receive the email related to moving in on August 25th. So we've got a variety of different students who are considered transfer students for a variety of different reasons. So Noah, if you have a question, just email us and we'll be able to check and see, because all that information went to your Wayne State email account.
Cats ask, by what date do we need to complete the campus data screener for them and the guest?
So that needs to be completed the day you are arriving on campus. I would encourage you to do it probably 1 to 2 hours before you arrive.
Zaria asked, my time slot for move-in is no longer in my self portal. Do I still come at the time I selected?
Yes, you will. We shut that off because we didn't want students to continue to change their times. So whatever time you selected is the time that you should arrive.
Okay. Are masks required to move in or only in classes?
Right now, oh yeah, go ahead, Mario.
Sarah just was stating the name.
Sure. So masks are still required in classrooms. They are not required to move in. Related to lofting your bed, you're going to get those materials, Kaylin, from the building front desk where you live.
Nika asks, does guests need to provide a vaccination card?
No, guests do not need to provide vaccine information.
Jing asks, where is the drop-off area for Chatsworth? It's in front of the Chatsworth building, the street of Anthony Wayne Drive.
And then there was another question about the open move-in. Open move-in is on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's not open for just first-year students. It's open on all 3 of those days. So that's when students need to go directly to their buildings to complete the check-in.
Andrew asks, how do I add my parents as an emergency contact now?
Sure. So you can go into your housing self-service portal and you will go to the addresses section, and there's a section that says emergency contacts, and that's where you'll update that. I would say it's always good to update that, but Mario's going to post that parent letter that was sent. So really, if you didn't receive that or someone in your family didn't receive that, I would just encourage you to go to the housing website after we're done here today to review that letter. The screener, when you get there, you need to do that prior to your arrival. So the campus daily screener is on the Wayne State website, and that's something that you'll need to complete. You'll go online, you'll put in your Wayne State access ID as well as your phone number, your contact phone number, and then you'll answer those questions. So it is through your Wayne State account that you'll log into the student and staff screener.
And Sarah Kaut, we can talk about the dining, medical necessary dietary needs. If you stay on the line, we can connect you with dining.
Yep, and Jennifer, we will not be providing hang tags at the Thompson. You'll just unload on Cass Avenue, and then you will be able to unload your items there. So we aren't doing hang tags because that move-in is a very small number of people and has a smaller loading and unloading area. So I think Mario and I got through all the questions that were in the chat. Sorry, it looked like we still had 40 more messages, so I was trying to kind of move through them fairly quickly so we could get everyone's answered. But it looks like we've come to the end of them. If we missed yours, please go ahead and type that in the chat again so we can address that. I know that McKenna wanted to speak with us, and then Sarah. If there's anybody else, please hang on the line. Mario and I do have a few minutes that we can stay behind and answer any more individual questions. The other thing I will say is that if you do have more personal specific questions, please feel free to email us, housing@wayne.edu. Here's all of our contact information. It's almost like Mario and I had that planned. So housing@wayne.edu is our email. Housing.wayne.edu is our website. That is where all the move-in information that Mario and I went over is located. The check-in pass information, where we'll post that parent newsletter, the times for the assigned upper class move-in slots. And then you can also feel free to call our office. As I mentioned, we are extremely busy. We are working through emails and phone calls day and night, but you can feel free to give us a ring and we'll try and answer your question by one of those methods. We have an online chat as well on the housing website.
We have two questions that just came in as they move up. So it says, will there be someone that help us move in at Chatsworth?
Yes, we will have, so, sorry, Mario, can you repeat that again?
Will
What was the question?
Will there be someone to assist us with moving in or unloading at Chatsworth?
Yes, so all of our buildings, if you move in during those windows, the 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., we will have our Warrior Welcome crew there who will be able to assist you and help you move your items in.
Tom asks, as a parent driving a second car with some larger items, can I simply go direct to the parking structure 2 to park, or is parking structure 2 open access on the 25th?
So I'm probably going to get Mario, help me out. I'm going to get my parking garages mixed up here because they're right next to each other. 2 should be open for the extent of move-in. Is that correct?
I believe both will be open. We are just asking if you have a permit to park in 2, because you'll be staying, if you're leaving a car, you'll be staying overnight. So that's where parking structure 2, but parking structure 5 will be open for guests to park their car during the move-in time, and then toward the end of the day, leave because that structure closes.
And Tom, you might just want to wait for your student to get through the process at the Welcome Center, because they will be giving you a hang tag, and we will have Wayne State Police that will be kind of helping to monitor and manage the traffic flow. And so they're going to be looking for one of those hang tags to make sure that you are going to the right location. So those hang tags will be building specific.
Margaret has a question. She raised her hand.
Sure, go ahead, Margaret.
You're muted, Margaret. Margaret, you're muted. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry about that. I just
That's
want to
okay.
ask this one more time to make sure I'm not missing anything. So I completed my check-in pass module. I'm an upperclassman, and I'm a senior here, and let's see. I've already begun packing for Wayne State, and I don't have renter's insurance for like getting trolleys, but my family could probably manage them. So is there anything else I'm missing?
No, I would say I think you covered everything. I would just encourage you to go back and look at the move-in website just to make sure got all of those different steps completed. It sounded like you did, and then we'll look to see you when you move in on the 27th or the 28th.
Okay.
Great, thanks, Margaret. There are a few questions. Oh, Mario, we're probably going to answer these same ones here. So related to the process after you unload your items, you go to park your car, but hopefully by the time all your items are unloaded, you'll have Warrior Welcome crew who will be walking with you to your room. So the goal is you'll have a couple of Warrior Welcome crew people to unload and help you get your items to your room. If items do need to stay on the side of the street, we would ask that someone stays with that. So either, you know, someone can go park the car and come back, or you can kind of figure out, depending upon who you have with you, how to manage that. You can get a parking pass at the Welcome Center. I just don't know if they've reached their limit. So I would encourage you, before you come to campus and with a car, if you don't yet have a parking permit, I would encourage you to reach out to the parking office or even do that online. So you could even submit that now online. You will get the hang tags when you sign in at the Welcome Center. So that is part of one of the move-in steps. related to lofting beds, you need to go to your front desk and they will be able to assist you with the mallet and any other items that you need to loft your bed.
We have a parking structure 5 question. What time does it close? I believe on the weekend it closes around 7 or 8. I'm not sure. It's different times during the weekend. We are still on the summer schedule until Monday, I believe. So we do ask that you don't stay long if you're planning to park in the structure 5. But I know it doesn't close before 5 for sure.
We do not provide toilet paper to students, so that is something that the students will need to bring. For Chatsworth, the unloading zone, Jing, sorry, I'm just trying to read this here. That will be, it will not be on Gullen Mall. So cars will not be allowed on Gullen Mall. It will be on Anthony Wayne Drive, but it will be on the east side of the road. So we will have a section for Chatsworth residents to unload, and then we'll have a section for our residents of Ghaffari to unload on that same side of the street.
Autumn
If you
asks,
have, oh yeah, go ahead.
sorry. Autumn asks, if we have 2 cars, will we get 2 hang tags?
Yes, you will get, yeah, we'll ask you how many cars you have. Related
Tamana-
to the, yeah. Sorry,
Tamana
Mario and
asks-
I are reading these at the same time here.
and they're coming in. Tamana asked, I just lost it. So do we unload and park or park and unload? You will unload and then park. So you'll go from the Welcome Center to your unloading zone, whether it be Chatsworth, Towers, or Ghaffari, or Anthony Wayne Drive, and then you'll park your car after you unload. It says, I'm an international student. I cannot check in during the time slot assigned. Can I ask my guardian to collect my 1 card so that I can go directly to the building?
No, the 1 card office will only give the 1 card to the person, to the student. So no, you will have to go to the Welcome Center first and then head over to University Towers or the Thompson if that's where you live.
Asia asks, can I complete the moving process but not officially move in my belongings until the 27th?
Yes, you certainly can. So we do have, if you move in on Thursday, the 25th, just remember we have a lot of first year activities and events that are going to be really important for you to attend. So you can certainly move in on the 25th and not move things in until later in the weekend. That's up to you, but we will have lots of events and activities. So we'd encourage you to participate in those.
There's a Towers residential unloading question. So yes, it is on the same road. We will give you a map to how to get to the Towers unloading zone. So don't worry about it. It'll be on the back of your hang tag when you arrive to check in. And then Margaret, I believe this will be our last question, or yep, coming in. Anything I need to know if moving into Anthony Wayne Drive apartments, nothing specific. They're all checking in at the Welcome Center and then unloading in front of the Anthony Wayne Drive apartments. And then our last 2 questions from Faisal. Do we require to clean the room at UT before arriving, or a room will be pre-cleaned?
Yeah, so Fazil, if you're moving in to an apartment that already has residents, that happens a lot at University Towers, we do not clean those bedrooms before a student moves into an already occupied unit. If you are moving into an unoccupied unit, brand new to campus, that room and that apartment will be cleaned ahead of time. We just don't do cleaning for residents that are already living there. So I don't know what your situation is, if you're adding into an apartment or if you're coming in brand new into an apartment, but those are the differences. And thanks, Tom. I'm glad that we could be helpful this evening to you. We got through a whole lot of questions, so really appreciate everyone's patience as Mario and I tried to work through and read all of those as they were coming in. Again, thank you so much. This will be recorded and Mario's going to post this online if you want to go back and look at it. And then I think we had McKenna and also one other person. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name. I think it might have been Kate or Sarah. Please stay on the line and we will end the recording and then we'll be able to answer your questions. Thanks so much, everybody. We look forward to seeing you on campus. Please feel free to reach out if you do have any other questions.